I'm going to take a quick sec to kind of break down BTC real quick because discussed this earlier this morning as we kind of pushed up. The 38.2 Fibonacci is usually my favorite spot to kind of get long when Bitcoin trends. Why? Because, it's a shallow pullback. It stops out late longs, but it also gives you like a pretty clean retest. So shared this in the Telegram earlier this morning. We were looking for this level. Unfortunately, my bid missed by a couple bucks here. But this was like the level. So we had the 38.2 fib. We had a clean bounce off it. You could even say we made like some sort of bull flag, whatever, and we finally broke out of it. So now that we're where we're at right now, I think at bare minimum where we're looking at. So this was the Saturday high we put in at like 36-ish, right? But supply is really higher up, right? So it's like 37, 38-ish. This is the zone I expect us at minimum to test to see if we get a rejection or not. So I actually longed right here at 32.50. And I'm looking for that move up here. So we get up to here, take some profits, see what happens. If we flip this level, this is a long to 32K. The 3-day edge to edge, the weekly key, June, etc. If we reject here, we're probably going to come back and sweep below 30K, maybe come to like the Monday mid-range right here, something of that nature. So, as it stands right now, very curious to see the price action going into the daily close because, when we zoom out for a sec, 6-hour key June just held beautifully as a move. We had a really strong move, light pullback, and now it looks like we're pushing up. We have a pivot right here at 37, 38-ish. So, and I zoom out to the daily, we touch a Tenkin. Is this the flip from the accumulation range we had, basically, where we tagged the previous range high, right? You shared that DBS zone right before at like, where was it? Yeah, at 29K right here. So, we came into this clean consolidation we had before we made the move up. We tapped it once, twice, SFP'd Monday high, low here, moved up higher. So there's strong belief, I still believe wholeheartedly this is a bull market. And I'll say that like very clearly, this is a bull market. So I want to be a dip buyer, not a short seller. Any short scalps need to be, again, scalps. You're playing counter trend, take your profits quickly and then get out. So I'm in dip buying mode right now. So I really think that, when we come up to this key level, it'll be interesting to see if we tap it and break down, or we tap it, reject, but still consolidate over that previous high here. So those are the kind of two things I'm looking at on BTC. Now, as it pertains to Ethereum, I think it's interesting to draw the ETH BTC chart for a second, because last stream we talked about the ETH BTC bottom right here. We had this beautiful 3 inside up reversal. It was clear as day. And now, however, it looks like we've come into some resistance. ETH BTC is no longer trending upwards. It looks like we're going to have a bearish engulfing on the daily. And it came up to this key zone, call it, where it rejected from. So if I'm looking for short-term trades, I'm looking to scalp short Ethereum because of the clear weakness on ETH BTC. And if I'm looking for longs, I think it's obvious that Bitcoin right now is just the better long to be had. So the fact that ETH BTC is rejecting, I'm not really looking for Ethereum longs right now, but where I would be looking for them is kind of like a mean reversion, right? So like we have this beautiful range from 708, call it, all the way to 62. So the midpoint of that, as we'll notice, is our fancy little yellow line, the key June. And that sits comfortably right at, where is it? 66.5-ish, call it. So until Ethereum BTC trends down to this level, I'm not really interested in taking ETH longs. Once we get to this mean reversion point, I'd like to see this hold, this confluence with this block right here. I'd like to see this area hold. And if it holds, then I'm going to be looking for Ethereum longs, just because I think at that point, the strength is going to reappear on ETH and we're going to go higher. How are you looking at ETH though, Trip? Just ETH USD right now?
Yeah, I mean, just as it pertains to what you said, I mean, the delta is like slightly green on ETH, where there's, I think like 4 billion in shorts on BTC. I mean, you could call it flat. Can you see my Hyblock?
Oh, yep.
It's 112 million. Nothing stands out, but I mean, if you just look at this, like, this is people longing on the way up, right? Like, if BTC pushes up to those levels, then maybe you get ETH in 2100s, like this cluster here. And I mean, this is a pretty tight setup if you were going to try to short this and put a stop above the high, because this is going to increase the delta on the long side. But it's really going to be dependent on like how does BTC react on around that pivot that you were talking
Yep.
about.
Yep.
And we can look at BTC, but that's also just one of the other reasons that last night we were just kind of like, this looks like it's going to go up. There was 9 billion in shorts on BTC. Like,
Exactly.
it's just not something I want to be
Shorting.
short, right? So now we're looking at 3.3. So again, I mean, this goes all the way up to 32, like 31.5, right? Like, it's hard to decipher like where it would top out from
Yep.
liquidity standpoint. And if we drop granularity, maybe it gives you a clear. Okay, so like 38.39, right? That's that pivot. You take this high, you take this high, right? You grab this one. I mean, this is where you basically said the resistance was going to be around here,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. You see there's liquidity that lines up with that, right?
Right. And so does that, does that push it more towards the shorts being completely squeezed out? We'll see. But yeah, I mean, levels wise, what you just talked about, and liquidity wise, and we can look at um, even this liquidation heat map to see if there's anything um, interesting. And this is a 12-hour look back on BTC. And just so people know how this works, I'll just zoom in so you guys can kind of get a better sense of this. On the left side, you'll see kind of like basically a legend, right? So yellow is 500 million, where obviously you get darker, it's less, right? So the concentration of liquidity right now on BTC, I'm just going to scroll all the way over here, right? Well, this 29.7 area and 29.8 to 29.7 is clearly there's a lot of long stacked here.
Yep.
Whereas there's a lot of shorts here. They might not be as prevalent, but look, I mean, you're still in this 400 million range of clusters up here, right? So if you start running that to where 30.8 and you're kind of hitting this gap, maybe you're getting this top one here, then look at the gap here. So price really has to squeeze a lot to get to this next cluster. So
Yep.
it does make sense that this is where you could potentially run out of fuel on the long side, unless you get some consolidation, you see shorts coming in. But would it make sense to do this and then grab this? Kind of.
Exactly. Exactly
So
what I'm thinking.
yeah, so like this is the game that we're all trying to figure out and play, and Zorn's been pretty good at it lately. I've not been. Better analysis than trader, but yeah, I mean this is how I look at price. This is how I would view it as there's much more liquidity closer to price right now than there
Yep.
is below it, right? So
Exactly.
if it's going to seek the path of least resistance, this is it right here. And then I would imagine they chase it up here and then run them down and bid
And just
down here.
consolidate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds. But where's that?